The alien girl went bright red when I whispered this. From space, the planet had looked like a jewel, but now, up close, it was alive. The forests glowed faintly with bioluminescent plants, rivers reflected streaks of purple and gold, and floating islands hovered effortlessly in the distance. Eli had visited many worlds before, but Zephyrus was different. Its beauty was not only in colors or shapes, but in the strange energy that seemed to pulse beneath everything. The locals called it Zera's heart, a force that connected all living beings. Eli had read about it, but now he could feel it in the air, soft, vibrating, almost like the planet itself was breathing. The shuttle's landing gear clicked against the smooth metal platform of Zephyrus' main spaceport. Aliens bustled around, humanoid in shape, but with luminous, multicolored skin that shifted according to their mood. They wore flowing garments that reflected light, making them look as though they were part of the planet itself. Some had antennae, others had tiny wings or tails, but all moved with a fluid grace that humans could only envy. Eli took a deep breath. "Here we go," he whispered to himself. A small figure approached him from the crowd, walking with an elegant, purposeful stride. She was unlike any other alien he had seen. Her skin shimmered softly with pastel colors that flowed from pink to green depending on her steps. Her eyes were a deep violet, bright and intelligent, and her hair seemed to float slightly as if it was weightless. "You must be Captain Marlowe," she said in a melodic voice. "I am Lyra. I will guide you while you are on Zephyrus." Eli stepped forward, offering a hand. "It's an honor to meet you, Lyra. I've heard much about your planet, but seeing it in person, it's something else." Lyra's skin shifted from green to a faint blue as she inclined her head politely. "I am glad you find it pleasing. Many humans have visited, but few truly observe Zephyrus as it is." Eli smiled. "I promise I'm here to learn, not just look." Lyra's violet eyes seemed to study him carefully. "Then let us begin." The shuttle ride to the city was like traveling through a dream. Floating islands passed by, connected with glowing bridges. Birds, or creatures that resembled birds, flew alongside them, their feathers emitting soft sparks of light. Rivers of liquid crystal flowed beneath the city platforms, reflecting the sky and the glowing buildings in perfect symmetry. Eli felt a thrill of excitement. Humans were curious by nature, and curiosity had taken them far. But here on Zephyrus, curiosity was a survival skill. Every corner held something unexpected. A plant that hummed like a gentle harp, a street market where items floated in the air, and machines that seemed alive, responding to gestures and emotions. Lyra walked beside him through the bustling city streets, moving gracefully while Eli tried to keep up. "You may notice our people's colors change," she explained. "It is how we express feelings. Not every shade is obvious, but the brighter tones, they reveal what one cannot always say in words." Eli nodded, fascinated. "So it's like reading someone's emotions visually." "Yes, but it is subtle," Lyra said, glancing at him. Her skin shimmered faintly in soft green. "And sometimes humans can surprise us." Eli raised an eyebrow. "I hope I surprise in a good way." Lyra's lips curved into the tiniest of smiles, and her skin shifted to a soft lavender. Eli felt a strange warmth, not in the heat sense, but in the way the planet seemed to welcome him. He reminded himself to focus. First impressions mattered, especially on a world like Zephyrus. They reached a large building at the center of the city, made of smooth, transparent material that reflected the glowing flora outside. Inside, the architecture was fluid, with walls that curved and shifted slightly as if alive. Eli's boots clicked against the polished floor as Lyra led him through corridors lined with holographic maps and interactive displays. "This is the Research and Cultural Exchange Center," she explained. "We study humans and other species who visit so we can learn and share knowledge. You will have full access." Eli's eyes widened. "Full access? That's incredible, thank you." Lyra's skin turned a soft cyan, her version of amusement. "Do not thank me yet. You may find that some areas are more challenging than others." Eli chuckled. "I've faced challenges before. I think I can handle Zephyrus." As they moved deeper into the center, Eli saw other humans interacting with aliens. Some humans had adapted quickly, learning to read the color shifts, while others were hesitant, unsure how to respond. Eli felt a spark of pride. Humans were adaptable, observant, and often unexpectedly brave. Lyra stopped in front of a large projection screen displaying images of planets, stars, and alien species. "Here is where you will start your study." she said. Your task is simple: observe, record, and understand. And perhaps you may teach us a thing or two about your species as well. Eli glanced at the screen, then back at her. I will do my best. Lyra's skin shimmered slightly, a color he did not recognize. I believe you will. After brief introductions, Lyra guided Eli to his quarters, a small yet elegant space with a panoramic view of the city below. The glowing rivers reflected the twin suns, and Eli could see floating islands in the distance. Sitting on the edge of the bed, he let out a deep breath. So this is Zephyra. Hard to believe it's real. Lyra entered quietly, standing by the window. It is real, Captain, and it is only the beginning. Tomorrow, your real journey begins. Eli turned to look at her, noting the subtle shifts in her skin colors, the gentle glow that seemed to mirror the emotions she felt. I'm looking forward to it, he said sincerely. Lyra's skin shimmered pink briefly, and she looked away, adjusting a panel on the window. Eli noticed but didn't comment, sensing that some things on Zephyra were meant to be discovered slowly, at their own pace. As night fell, the city lit up with soft, multicolored lights, reflecting in the floating rivers and casting shimmering patterns across the buildings. Eli felt a deep sense of wonder. Humans had explored countless worlds, but Zephyra was unlike anything he had imagined. Every detail, every interaction, every color shift of the locals reminded him that the universe was vast and full of surprises. He wondered what tomorrow would bring, and in the back of his mind, a small spark of curiosity grew, not just about the planet, but about Lyra, the alien girl whose skin had already hinted at emotions she could not yet speak aloud. For the first time in a long while, Eli felt that his journey was not just about exploration. It was about connection, understanding, and perhaps discovering what made humans, in all their resilience and adaptability, truly special. And on Zephyra, a world of color, light, and living energy, that discovery was only beginning. The next morning, the city of Zephyra awoke in a dazzling display of colors. The twin suns reflected off the floating rivers, casting golden and violet streaks across the glowing buildings. The streets buzzed with excitement, and Eli could feel the planet's energy vibrating through the air. Today was the Festival of Lights, a celebration of knowledge, discovery, and unity among the alien clans. Lyra arrived at Eli's quarters with her usual elegance, her skin shimmering a soft, warm green, a color that indicated excitement. Captain Marlowe, today is a special day. The Festival of Lights is our greatest event. You will see the full spirit of Zephyra. Eli adjusted his simple human tunic, trying not to look too awkward among the elegantly dressed aliens. I'm ready. I've never seen anything like this. Lyra's skin flickered briefly to lavender, signaling amusement. You will see more than you imagine. They stepped out into the streets, and Eli's eyes widened. The entire city was alive with movement and light. Floating lanterns glowed in the air, casting patterns that danced along the streets. Market stalls displayed shimmering fruits, crystal tools, and strange devices that seemed to float on their own. Aliens moved gracefully, their skins changing with every laugh, whisper, and gesture. It was a symphony of color and life. Lyra led him to the main square, where a large crowd had gathered around a central stage. This is where the festival begins, she explained. There will be performances, demonstrations of skill, and the sharing of discoveries. Every participant shows what they have learned and created. Eli was fascinated. Humans had festivals, too, but Zephyra's celebration was alive in a way he had never seen. The colors, the sounds, the energy, it all seemed connected, like the planet itself was part of the performance. A group of young aliens stepped onto the stage, performing acrobatics in midair. Their skin shifted from bright blue to gold as they flipped and twisted, leaving glowing trails behind them. The crowd cheered, their collective excitement reflected in the radiant colors that washed over the square. Eli turned to Lyra. This is incredible. It's like the city itself is celebrating. Lyra's skin glimmered faintly, a soft turquoise. It is. Zephyrians show emotions outwardly. We share joy openly. Humans, you are more subtle, but I think that is interesting. Eli smiled. We have our ways, sometimes subtle is better. Lyra's eyes twinkled as they walked through the crowd. Perhaps, but today subtle will not be enough. Today you must join in. They approached a section of the square where participants were invited to showcase knowledge. Eli noticed devices, inventions, and holographic models. Some were simple, others highly complex. He realized that humans, with their curiosity and adaptability, might have a chance to impress the Zephyrians. "Would you like to present something?" Lyra asked, her voice calm but curious. Eli hesitated, then shook his head. I'm not sure I'm ready. I didn't bring anything prepared." Lyra's skin flickered faintly to pink, a subtle expression of mild disappointment mixed with understanding. "Then observe first, learn, and perhaps later you will participate in your own way." They watched as an alien inventor demonstrated a floating map that adjusted to gestures. The crowd gasped as the map zoomed, rotated, and highlighted areas of the planet. Another group displayed musical instruments that played themselves, responding to emotional signals from the performers. Eli was amazed. Humans had machines too, but these felt alive in a way he could not fully explain. Lyra glanced at him. "Do you wish to try something, even a small demonstration?" Eli thought for a moment. "Maybe something simple. Humans can communicate in ways without machines. Perhaps that can be shared." Lyra raised an eyebrow, her skin turning a light yellow, a color that indicated curiosity. "Very well, let us see what you can do." They walked to a small, quiet area near the stage. Eli cleared his throat and spoke softly, demonstrating a human storytelling technique, sharing a tale of exploration, courage, and friendship. He described adventures on distant planets, encounters with alien species, and the ways humans learned to adapt and survive. Lyra listened intently, her skin slowly changing from green to soft blue, then flickering faintly with hints of purple. The colors indicated surprise, intrigue, and a rare emotion she did not fully understand herself. Eli noticed, but he continued, speaking sincerely and with passion. When he finished, Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Her skin shifted rapidly, finally settling into a bright, glowing red, the color of strong emotion, almost embarrassment, but also admiration. Eli froze for a moment. He had heard of Zephyrian's color changes, but he had never seen one react so vividly. You humans," Lyra said softly, her voice a little unsteady. "You are unlike any I have observed." Eli grinned. "I guess we can surprise even the most careful observers." Lyra's red glow dimmed slightly, replaced by a soft pink, a calmer, yet still noticeable emotion. She looked away, adjusting a floating panel beside them. Eli realized that her reaction was both genuine and involuntary, something uniquely Zephyrian, yet deeply human in its authenticity. As they returned to the crowd, other aliens looked on curiously, noticing Lyra's unusual color shift. Eli could tell that what had happened was rare and remarkable. A human had caused an alien to display strong emotion publicly, something considered unusual on Zephyra. The festival continued, and Eli found himself participating more actively. He helped an alien musician adjust a rhythm for a human-inspired song. He demonstrated simple human problem-solving games, which fascinated a group of young Zephyrians. Every time Lyra was nearby, her skin flickered with shades of blue, green, or pink, reflecting her emotions in ways Eli could not fully read, yet found delightful. By the time the twin suns began to set, the sky was painted in colors beyond imagination. Floating lanterns were released into the air, carrying wishes and messages of hope. The crowd cheered, and the energy of the festival reached its peak. Eli and Lyra stood together, watching the glowing sky. "You humans, you have a strange way of connecting," Lyra said quietly. Her skin shimmered in soft lavender, a color indicating admiration and contemplation. "You do not hide your emotions completely, yet you do not force them. It is fascinating," Eli smiled. "We have to adapt to survive, but also to connect. I guess that's why humans travel so far to learn and to be understood." Lyra glanced at him, her violet eyes reflecting the lantern's glow. "Perhaps, and today you have shown that even a human's voice can move Zephyrians." Eli laughed softly. "I didn't mean to, but I'm glad it did." Lyra's skin flickered bright pink again, though this time it seemed less like embarrassment and more like a genuine reaction of warmth and amusement. Eli felt a strange happiness, something beyond curiosity, because humans and Zephyrians were experiencing a rare connection, bridging worlds with understanding and shared wonder. As night deepened, the festival concluded with a grand display. Beams of colored light danced across the city, interacting with the floating rivers, creating shapes that seemed alive. The city itself appeared to celebrate, as if the planet acknowledged the union of curiosity, courage, and joy. Eli and Lyra walked back through the glowing streets, their steps quiet amidst the slowly dispersing crowd. "Thank you for guiding me today," Eli said sincerely. "I've learned more than I could have imagined." Lyra's skin shimmered soft green, her usual calm and elegant color. "And I have learned as well. Humans have ways that are different yet meaningful. You have brought something new to Zephyra." Eli glanced at her, noticing the faint pink glow lingering on her cheeks, an echo of the earlier red. He wondered what other surprises this planet and its people might hold. "You think tomorrow will be as exciting?" he asked. Lyra smiled slightly, her skin a gentle lavender. "Excitement is not always predictable, Captain Marlowe. But with humans involved, it is likely to be memorable." Eli laughed. "I'll take that as a promise." As they returned to the quarters, Eli felt a sense of anticipation. The Festival of Lights had not only shown him Zephyra's beauty, but also hinted at the deeper connections possible between humans and aliens. And somewhere in the glowing colors, he realized that Lyra, the alien girl with shifting, expressive skin, was as intriguing and unpredictable as the planet itself. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new discoveries, and perhaps new lessons on what made humans truly special. The morning sun of Zephyra cast soft golden light across the floating city, painting the glowing buildings in warm hues. Eli woke with a sense of anticipation. Yesterday's Festival of Lights had been extraordinary, but today promised something different. Lyra had promised discoveries, and he sensed the day would test more than just curiosity, it might test courage. After breakfast, Lyra met him at the quarters. Her skin glimmered a soft green, signaling calm and readiness. "Captain Marlowe," she said, "today you will see Zephyra in a way few humans do. There are matters that concern the Council." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Matters like research or more serious?" Lyra's skin shifted briefly to a muted orange, a sign of caution. "More serious. There are whispers of a faction that seeks to manipulate the Council using advanced technology. If they succeed, the balance of Zephyra could be in danger." Eli felt a thrill of tension. Humans were explorers, yes, but they were also problem solvers. "Then we need to find out more." Lyra nodded, her violet eyes serious. "Follow me." They walked through the city streets, quiet compared to yesterday's festival. Floating lanterns and glowing plants still cast soft light, but the atmosphere felt tense. Lyra led him to a tall building at the edge of the city, the Research and Cultural Exchange Center's archives. Inside, corridors stretched endlessly, lined with data crystals and holographic archives. "These archives contain information about Zephyra's history, technology, and visitors," Lyra explained. "Most humans do not have access beyond observation areas, but you will be allowed here cautiously." Eli glanced around, impressed. "This is incredible. I've never seen such an organized repository of knowledge." Lyra's skin shimmered soft cyan. "Knowledge is valued above all. But power can corrupt knowledge if used carelessly." They entered a secure room, and Lyra activated a floating display. Holograms of city maps, technological schematics, and reports appeared. Eli studied them carefully, noting how advanced Zephyra's technology was, machines that seemed alive, powered by energy drawn from the planet itself. Lyra pointed to a series of encrypted files. "These contain information about the faction. They are trying to gain control by manipulating energy conduits and city infrastructure." Eli leaned closer. "Do you know who they are?" Lyra shook her head, her skin flickering light purple. "Not completely. They hide well, but their movements have been detected. If we act carefully, we can prevent them from causing harm." Eli nodded. "Then we need a plan." They spent hours examining the data. Eli, using his human intuition, noticed patterns in the faction's movements and technology usage that Zephyrians had overlooked. Lyra guided him, explaining the function of the energy conduits, the security systems, and the city's defenses. Together, their combined knowledge, human adaptability, and Zephyrian precision revealed a map of the faction's potential targets. At one point, Lyra's skin flickered bright pink, a rare sign of excitement. Eli looked at her, smiling. "You trust me, don't you?" Lyra glanced away, adjusting a holographic panel. "I have seen your mind at work. You think differently. It is refreshing." Eli laughed softly. "Humans have been solving problems for a long time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails, but we never stop trying." Lyra's skin shifted to a calm blue, a sign of respect. "Then we will try together." By late afternoon, they had formulated a plan. The faction was attempting to control one of the city's energy hubs, which powered not only infrastructure but also floating islands and communication networks. If captured, it would give them unprecedented influence over Zephyra. "We will need stealth," Lyra said, her skin flickering soft yellow. "And speed. If the faction realizes we know, they may act sooner." Eli nodded. "Then we strike first. Humans are good at improvising, and I think together we can outsmart them." They left the archives and moved through the city's quieter sections, approaching the target energy hub. The hub floated on a platform above a glowing river, connected by intricate energy conduits. Eli observed the patterns of light along the conduits, noting gaps in security that the faction might exploit. Lyra paused at the edge of the platform, her violet eyes scanning. "This place is protected but not perfectly. We can move quickly if we stay hidden." Eli glanced around. "I've done this before: stealth, observation, careful timing. Let's see if human intuition can make a difference here." They approached the hub, moving with care. Eli was amazed by the sheer beauty of the energy flows, rivers of light coursing through conduits, powering the floating city above. It was mesmerizing, but he stayed focused. Any mistake could alert the faction. Suddenly, a shadow moved along the platform. Lyra's skin flickered bright orange, warning. Eli ducked instinctively, hiding behind a glowing pillar. The shadow belonged to a faction scout, moving carefully along the conduits. "They are cautious," Lyra whispered, her skin turning a muted violet. "We must be quicker." Eli studied the scout's path and noticed a slight delay in its patrol routine. "I can time it," he said. "When it moves past that section, we move." Lyra nodded, and together they slipped along the conduits, using the scout's timing to avoid detection. Eli's human adaptability allowed him to navigate the alien technology intuitively, while Lyra guided him with precise knowledge of the hub systems. They reached the central control panel of the hub, a complex array of glowing crystals and floating circuits. Lyra explained how to secure it temporarily, blocking the faction's access. Eli watched carefully, following her instructions, then added a human improvisation, a subtle adjustment in the energy flow that would alert them if anyone tried to tamper with the hub again. As they finished, Eli glanced at Lyra. Her skin was now a soft green, indicating relief and satisfaction. "That was intense," he said. Lyra's eyes sparkled. "You acted well. Your human insight complemented Zephyrian precision. The hub is secure for now." Suddenly, an alarm rang through the city. Eli's heart skipped a beat. "That was quick," he muttered. Lyra's skin flickered a bright red, a strong warning. "They have discovered part of our presence. We must move fast." They retraced their steps, moving through the floating conduits with careful urgency. Eli noted additional weaknesses in the faction's patrol patterns and realized they could use these later to prevent further attempts. As they reached a safe area, Eli laughed softly. "Humans never back down, even when things get dangerous. Looks like we just taught them a lesson." Lyra's red glow dimmed slightly, replaced by a soft pink, her usual reserved color returning. "You humans, you face risks without fear of shame or hesitation. It is remarkable." "And effective," Eli smiled. "We have to adapt, that's how we survive, and sometimes we get to help others survive too." Lyra's skin flickered with appreciation. "Then we are a good team." For the rest of the day, they observed the city discreetly, noting faction movements and reinforcing Zephyra's defenses where possible. Eli realized that humans' ingenuity, combined with Zephyrians' knowledge, could make a real difference. It was not just survival, it was creating trust and connection across species. By nightfall, the city's lights reflected in the floating rivers, casting patterns that seemed to celebrate their small victory. Eli and Lyra sat quietly on a platform, overlooking the glowing city. "You humans, you are not only curious but courageous," Lyra said softly. Her skin shimmered soft lavender, a color signaling deep respect. "I did not expect this." Eli glanced at her, noticing the faint pink hue lingering. "Curiosity is one thing. Courage, that comes when you care about more than yourself." Lyra's violet eyes met his. "Perhaps, and today you have shown both. I admire that." Eli smiled. "Thanks, but I have learned too about Zephyra, your people, and about how different species can work together. Humans are not always the strongest, but we adapt. We think, we feel, we find solutions." Lyra's skin shifted in soft green, her usual calm. "And that is why humans are unique. Today proved it." As they watched the city lights flicker, Eli realized that Zephyra was teaching him something beyond science or exploration. It was teaching him about connection, trust, and the power of combining strengths across worlds. And Lyra, with her expressive, shifting skin, was a reminder that understanding could bridge even the widest gaps between species. Tomorrow, Eli knew, would bring new challenges. The faction might attempt more, and the city's safety could be tested further. But for now, he felt a sense of accomplishment, and an even stronger bond with the alien girl whose reactions were as unpredictable as the world they both sought to protect. For Eli, the adventure on Zephyra was no longer just exploration. It had become a mission of understanding, courage, and discovery, humanity at its finest, shining brightly across the stars. The sun rose slowly over Zephyra, casting a soft gold and violet glow across the floating city. Eli, Marlowe, and Lyra stood atop a quiet platform, observing the city from above. After securing the energy hub the previous day, they believed the immediate threat had been contained. But the tension in the air told them otherwise. The faction was clever, and Eli knew humans were about to face a real test. Lyra's skin shimmered soft green, signaling calm, but her violet eyes were alert. "Captain Marlowe," she said, "the faction is not finished. Their attempts to control the city will continue tonight. We must act quickly if we are to prevent disaster." Eli adjusted his jacket and nodded. "Then we prepare. Humans are good at improvising, and I have a few ideas that might help." Lyra's skin flickered faintly pink, a subtle sign of curiosity. "Then let us proceed." They moved through the city streets, careful to avoid the busy areas. The glowing pathways and floating bridges, which had seemed peaceful earlier, now felt like a maze filled with potential danger. Eli marveled at the beauty of the city, but reminded himself to stay focused. Every corner, every shadow could hide a faction scout. As night approached, alarms suddenly echoed through the city. Red warning lights flashed across the platforms. Eli and Lyra exchanged a glance. "They've begun," Lyra whispered. Her skin flickered bright orange, signaling caution. Eli nodded. "Then we move." They sprinted across a floating bridge, the wind from the height whipping against their faces. Below, the glowing rivers reflected streaks of red and gold. The faction had activated part of the city's defense systems to trap intruders, making the platforms slippery and the paths narrow. Eli's human instincts guided him as he jumped across gaps and dodged sudden energy bursts. Lyra followed closely, her skin flickering soft blue, focused and precise. They reached a narrow corridor leading to a lower platform. Eli paused, studying the energy flows along the walls. "If we can disrupt this conduit, it will slow them down and give us a path to the control center." Lyra nodded, quickly assisting. Together, they adjusted the flow using the hub's previous configurations. Energy streams shifted, momentarily confusing the faction's automated patrols. Eli grinned. "Works every time with humans, adapt and improvise." They continued their descent through the city. The sound of alarms grew louder, and shadows of the faction's operatives moved along the glowing platforms. Eli realized they were being hunted. "We'll need a diversion," he whispered. Lyra's skin flickered bright red, a rare expression of intense emotion. Eli noticed. "You trust me to make the call?" Her skin shifted soft green. "Yes, proceed." Eli scanned the area, spotting a section of the energy conduit that could release a burst of light and sound without causing damage. He triggered it, creating a dazzling explosion of luminescence. The faction operatives paused, momentarily distracted by the unexpected display. Eli and Lyra slipped past, moving toward the control center. The city's core loomed ahead, a massive structure with energy conduits radiating in all directions. The faction had begun manipulating some of the conduits, attempting to gain control over floating districts. Eli realized that speed was crucial. "Lyra," he whispered, "we need to shut down the main access points before they take over." Lyra's skin shifted soft yellow, a sign of cautious optimism. "Then let us divide tasks. You handle the access points on this side, I will cover the conduits on the other. Synchronize your actions." Eli nodded. "Got it." They moved with precision. Eli reached the first access point, studying the controls. The mechanisms were complex but familiar enough that his human ingenuity allowed him to make adjustments. Lyra worked in parallel, her hands moving gracefully over floating circuits, redirecting energy flows and stabilizing conduits. Suddenly, a group of faction operatives appeared from a side corridor. Eli's heart raced. "Lyra, they've spotted us." Her skin flickered bright orange. "We must retreat, but we cannot abandon the core." Eli acted quickly. Using a nearby energy panel, he created a temporary shield blocking the operative's path. The humans' ability to improvise in real time gave them a critical edge. Lyra followed, using her knowledge of the conduits to open a hidden path that led directly into the control center. Inside the control center, the air hummed with energy. Panels floated around, displaying the city's energy flows, security systems, and conduit status. Eli and Lyra worked in unison, shutting down the faction's manipulations and reinforcing the city's defenses. Each adjustment sent ripples of light through the conduits, illuminating their determined faces. "Almost done," Eli muttered, wiping sweat from his brow. "Just a few more sequences." Lyra's skin flickered soft blue, a sign of focused determination. "Hurry, Captain, they are regrouping outside." They finished their work just as the faction attempted another intrusion. The city's defenses, now stabilized, repelled the intruders. Red warning lights faded, replaced by the soft glow of safety. Eli exhaled deeply, feeling the tension lift. Lyra's skin shifted bright pink, a mix of relief and admiration. "You humans, you are remarkable. Your quick thinking saved Zephyra." Eli smiled. "It was teamwork. Humans adapt, but we also trust and cooperate. That's how we solve problems." Lyra's violet eyes sparkled. "Then today, humans have proven their worth." The city, once again calm, reflected the twin suns' soft light. Floating lanterns left from the festival drifted past, carrying messages of hope. Eli and Lyra stepped onto a platform overlooking the rivers. "We did it," Eli said softly. "The city is safe, at least for now." Lyra's skin flickered soft green, her calm returning. "Yes. And the faction has learned that humans are not to be underestimated." Eli glanced at her, noticing the faint pink lingering on her cheeks, a reminder of the unusual emotions she displayed around him. "And you," he said, "were incredible. Your knowledge, your skill, you made this possible too." Lyra's skin shimmered faint lavender, her version of modesty and appreciation. "We complement each other. Humans think differently, act differently. It is effective." Eli laughed softly. "Maybe that's the human advantage. Adapt, improvise, and never give up." They walked back through the quiet city, the floating bridges glowing softly beneath their feet. Eli realized that today's adventure had not only tested their courage, but also strengthened the bond between human and alien. HFY, Humans Are Special, was not just about survival or intelligence. It was about creativity, adaptability, and the willingness to face danger with courage and heart. As night fell, the city settled into a peaceful rhythm. Eli and Lyra reached a platform overlooking the glowing rivers, watching reflections ripple across the water. "Tomorrow," Eli said, "we'll need to investigate further. The faction may try again." Lyra's skin shifted soft green. "Then we will be ready, together." Eli smiled, feeling a rare sense of calm. On Zephyra, humans were not just visitors. They were allies, problem solvers, and protectors. And with Lyra by his side, he felt that no challenge, no matter how daunting, could stop them. The twin suns set, casting the city in shades of purple and gold. Floating lanterns drifted past, illuminating the sky like tiny stars. Eli watched the lights, thinking of the human capacity to adapt and survive, to learn and innovate. Lyra's skin flickered faint pink again, a quiet expression of warmth. Eli realized that human courage had inspired her, and perhaps a deeper understanding had begun to form between them. As they stood in silence, overlooking the city, Eli knew that the real adventure was not just in the action, but in the bond they had forged, the lessons learned, and the discovery that humans could shine brightly even in the most alien worlds. And in the quiet glow of Zephyra, Captain Eli Marlowe understood one thing clearly. Survival and ingenuity were important, but connection, trust, cooperation, and courage was what truly made humans special. The morning sun of Zephyra rose slowly, casting soft golden and violet rays. Over the floating city, the events of the previous nights weighed heavily on Eli Marlowe, yet he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The faction's threat had been partially neutralized, but he knew they could attempt more. Today, however, was about more than danger. It was about connection, trust, and the future of Zephyra. Lyra awaited him at the edge of the main plaza, her skin shimmering a calm, soft green. Her violet eyes, deep and thoughtful, reflected the morning light. "Captain Marlowe," she said softly, Today the council will review the city's defense and security measures. They have requested your presence. Eli adjusted his uniform and nodded. I'm ready. Humans are good at planning, and I hope my experience can help. Lyra's skin flickered faint pink, a subtle expression of warmth and curiosity. Then let us proceed. They walked through the streets, the city alive but peaceful. Floating lanterns from the festival still drifted slowly in the breeze, casting delicate reflections across the glowing rivers below. Citizens of Zephyrah moved gracefully, their skin colors flowing with gentle emotions: curiosity, joy, admiration. Eli marveled at how openly these feelings were displayed. As they entered the council chambers, Eli noticed dozens of delegates from different regions of Zephyrah. Each one's skin shifted in a unique pattern, revealing emotion and intent. Lyra led him to a seat near the front. The council recognizes your efforts, Lyra whispered, but they wish to hear from you directly. Eli took a deep breath. Very well, humans are used to speaking plainly. I will do my best. When it was his turn, Eli stood confidently. He explained the recent attacks by the faction, the vulnerabilities they had discovered, and the ways they had been countered. He spoke not only of the actions taken, but of the reasoning behind them: observation, adaptation, improvisation. His voice carried sincerity, and his words were clear and simple, as humans often communicate. The delegates listened intently, their skin colors shifting rapidly: surprise, curiosity, and even admiration. Eli could see that his approach, straightforward yet thoughtful, was something they had not expected. Humans, he realized, had a different way of thinking, one that combined logic with creativity and emotion. When he finished, a council member with deep violet skin addressed him. Captain Marlowe, your actions and your insight have shown us a different way to approach problems. Your humanity has illuminated new possibilities for Zephyrah. Lyra's skin flickered bright pink, and she looked at Eli with what he recognized as pride. You humans, you are remarkable, she said quietly. You have not only acted bravely, but inspired trust. Eli smiled. Thank you, but it was a team effort. I would not have succeeded without your guidance, Lyra. Lyra's skin softened to a gentle green. Then we are equals in this endeavor. The council convened a vote on new security measures, many of which incorporated human suggestions. Eli watched as Zephyrians debated, their emotions displayed openly in shifting colors. The process was fascinating. Humans relied on discussion and reasoning, but Zephyrians added a visible emotional layer that made intentions clear. It was a unique way to build trust quickly. By midday, the council reached a decision. The faction's influence was to be monitored closely, with new safeguards implemented throughout the city. The energy hubs were stabilized further, and patrol systems were refined with human insights in mind. Eli felt a quiet satisfaction. Zephyrah was safer, at least for now. After the meeting, Lyra guided him to a quiet terrace overlooking the city. The floating rivers below reflected the twin suns' light, creating streaks of gold, violet, and soft pink. Eli took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past days and the hope for the future. You have done well, Captain, Lyra said softly. Her skin flickered a delicate lavender. Zephyrah is fortunate to have you. Eli shook his head. I have learned more than I have given. Humans are resilient, yes, but we survive because we connect, we cooperate, and we adapt. And I have seen that Zephyrians share similar strengths, though expressed differently. That is what makes today possible. Lyra's skin shifted soft pink again, a rare display of warmth. And perhaps humans and Zephyrians can work together beyond crises. Not only for survival, but for growth, knowledge, and understanding. Eli smiled. Exactly. Humans are explorers, yes, but we are also learners, and from what I have seen, Zephyrians are natural collaborators. Together, there is much we can accomplish. Lyra looked out at the floating islands in the distance. The festival, the hub, the faction, all of these events have taught us, but the greatest lesson may be the bond between species. You have proven that understanding can be stronger than fear or power. Eli nodded. Humans thrive on connection. We are curious, yes, but also determined to help others when we can. I see now that Zephyrians share that spirit, though expressed in colors and patterns I am still learning to read. Lyra's skin flickered bright pink briefly, and she looked at him. Then perhaps the unusual emotions you evoke are not unwelcome, they are honest. Eli chuckled softly. If I have made you blush, Lyra, it is a small victory for humanity. She laughed lightly, her skin shifting soft lavender. Perhaps, but the lesson is mutual. We learn from each other. Trust is built not only on words or actions, but on sincerity. And today you have shown that clearly. The afternoon passed with discussions between Eli, Lyra, and several council members. Plans for future collaboration were drafted. Human observers would study Zephyra's technology and culture, while Zephyrians would share their discoveries about the planet, its energy, and the species that called it home. The foundation for a lasting alliance was laid, one based on trust, respect, and mutual admiration. As night fell, the city was bathed in a gentle glow. Lanterns floated through the air, carrying messages of hope and peace. Eli and Lyra walked through the streets, their steps quiet among the citizens, many of whom glanced at Eli with curiosity and newfound respect. "You have changed things here, Captain," Lyra said softly. "Not just the city's safety, but how humans are viewed. Today, you have built a bridge." Eli looked at her, noticing the faint pink lingering on her skin. "And you, Lyra, have shown me how to understand a world so different from my own. That bridge goes both ways." They reached the top of a floating plateau, overlooking the entire city. The twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting streaks of violet, gold, and pink across the sky. The rivers below reflected the colors, creating patterns that seemed alive. Eli felt a sense of awe. Humans had explored countless worlds, but few had taught him lessons like Zephyra. Lyra's skin shimmered soft green, calm, and elegant as ever. The planet, the city, the people, everything is interconnected. But today, the most important connection is this one, between our species. Eli smiled. And it will continue. Humans are explorers, yes, but we are also partners when trust is earned. I hope this is only the beginning of something greater. Lyra looked at him, her violet eyes reflecting the glowing rivers. "It is, and I hope we continue to learn from each other to grow together, for the good of Zephyra and perhaps beyond." Eli nodded. "Humans are not just visitors. We are learners, helpers, and sometimes allies when courage is needed most. And today we have proven that humans are special." Lyra's skin flickered a faint pink, a soft expression of admiration and warmth. "Then the humans and Zephyrians have begun a partnership unlike any other, one that can face challenges, discover wonders, and protect this city together." As they stood in silence, the glowing lanterns drifted above, carrying hopes and dreams into the night sky. Eli realized that Zephyra was more than a mission. It was a world that could teach him about courage, connection, and the power of collaboration. For the first time, he truly understood that humanity's greatest strength was not just in exploration or survival. It was in heart, in ingenuity, and in the ability to build bonds across the stars. Lyra's hand brushed lightly against his, a gesture that carried trust, respect, and friendship. Her skin flickered soft lavender, and for a moment the colors of Zephyra seemed to mirror the human heart, complex, vibrant, and full of potential. Eli looked out at the glowing rivers and floating islands. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "Humans and Zephyrians together, imagine what we can achieve." Lyra nodded, her skin soft green once more. "Yes. And perhaps one day we will explore even further, beyond Zephyra, beyond the stars, together." The twin suns disappeared completely, leaving the city bathed in the soft glow of Zephyra's energy. Lanterns drifted like tiny stars, reflecting in the rivers and across the floating platforms. Eli felt a quiet joy, a sense of accomplishment and hope for the future. For now, humans had proven themselves. Not just as explorers or problem solvers, but as partners, friends, and allies. On Zephyra, the seeds of a new alliance had been planted, one that promised cooperation, understanding, and a shared journey into the unknown. And as the night embraced the city, Eli Marlowe and Lyra stood together, looking at the glowing horizon, knowing that the future, bright, unpredictable, and full of promise, was theirs to explore.